All right, let's dive into a really powerful short fable. It's called The Cobbler and the Sunrise. And trust me, it's one of those stories that kind of sticks with you, you know? It really makes you rethink what struggle is all about, how people see you, and what success actually is.
So before we even meet our main character, I want to put this idea right at the front. This is the heart of the whole thing. As we go through the story, just keep this in the back of your mind, because everything, and I mean everything, circles back to this one powerful truth. Poverty does not define your future. Your persistence does.
Okay, so let's get into it. Our story starts with a man who, the world had pretty much forgotten. He was just overlooked. Let's meet him. This is the story of Manuel, the unseen cobbler.
I want you to just picture this for a second. A shop so tiny, it's more like a closet. The roof's got leaks, the tools are all worn out, and it's in this dusty, forgotten town. This is Manuel's world. This is where it all starts.
And this is where it gets really interesting. Look at the difference between how people saw him and what was really going on inside. The town, they just saw a poor cobbler, a lost cause, really. But his reality? Oh, that was a whole different story. Inside, there was this hope that just wouldn't die, a quiet focus, and this secret mission to perfect his craft.
So this is where the real work happened. Not during the day, when everyone could see him and judge him. No, it was at night, in the quiet, when it was just him and his dream.
And here's his routine, his process. During the day, yeah, he did his job. He repaired other people's shoes. But at night, that was his time. He was working on his masterpiece, a single, perfect pair of shoes. And look, this was not a smooth ride. He failed, over and over again. The leather would tear, the stitches would break. It was a real hard struggle. But the key part, he just kept going.
And this part gets me. It wasn't just about being tired. We're talking about real physical pain. His fingers bled. Can you imagine? But still, he continued. This goes way beyond just working hard. This is about pushing through pain because your goal means that much to you.
So after all that, all those nights, all that pain, all that secret work, it leads you to wonder, right? What happens when years of that kind of practice finally meet a single moment of chance?
Well, that brings us to this, the fateful encounter, the one moment that changes absolutely everything. This is it, where all that preparation finally gets its shot.
And it happens just like that. One random evening, opportunity literally limps right into his shop. A rich traveler, his fancy shoes totally broken, ends up in the last place on earth he ever thought he'd be, Manuel's little shop.
Now this is the moment of truth. Seriously, Manuel could have just done a quick fix on the guy's old shoes. Easy. But he didn't. He took a huge risk. He brings out the pair. The ones he'd poured his blood, his sweat, his entire hope into for years.
And the result? Absolute perfection. They fit perfectly, no pain, no discomfort. Just... right. Think about it. All those nights of failure, of torn leather and broken stitches, it was all for this one moment. That's the first real taste of victory, the payoff for all that work no one ever saw.
So where does he go from here? What does success even look like after a moment like that? Let's follow the journey.
What I love about this is that it shows success isn't just some big explosion overnight. It's a slow burn. It starts with one big order. Then, a year in, his reputation is growing. And then, years later, he's building something that's going to last even longer than he will. A place to teach others.
I mean, his life is completely different now. That leaky old shop, gone. But look at what's really important here, what he does with that success. He doesn't just kick back and enjoy the money. He builds a legacy. He starts hiring and training young apprentices, boys who are just like he was, poor, overlooked, with no shot. He basically becomes the person that he needed when he was young. That's powerful.
And this all leads us to the final lesson of the story. And honestly, it might be the most important one. It's all about how we think about one little word we throw around all the time: luck.
So one day, a former neighbor, someone who only ever saw him as poor old Manuel, sees how well he's doing and just says, "You are lucky, Manuel." And isn't that just how it goes? It's so easy to stand on the outside, look at someone's success, and just write it off as luck, completely ignoring the journey.
But Manuel's answer, it is just perfect. He completely redefines what luck even is.
He says luck isn't some random thing that just happens to you. Luck is what finds you working when everyone else is asleep. It's what finds you still trying when everyone else has given up. He was lucky because he was ready. He'd been preparing for that traveler for years.
So when you boil it all down, the real moral of the story isn't just about working hard, it's about who you are along the way. Staying humble when you're struggling, being patient when everything's going wrong, and maybe most importantly, being kind when you finally make it. That's the real measure of success, isn't it?
So I'll just leave you with this thought. We all have something we're working on when no one's watching, right? That perfect pair of shoes. So what's yours? Where are you putting in the work when others are sleeping? What is that one thing you're making just waiting for its moment?